Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another cast. Guys, today I am bringing you a 1v1 between EXC and Race on a map called Corrupt Conflict, I believe. And guys, this one's interesting because it is a live game, so this is happening in real time, which means I am bringing it to you as it is being played out. Which means that I cannot speed up the game or slow it down for that matter. And it also means that I can't promise it'll be a good game because it's happening live. Typically, I will, before I cast a game, I'll check the replay and make sure it's interesting. I don't always go all the way to the end, but I'll sort of verify that it's going to be a good game. But guys, with these live games, you can never tell. It could be an epic game. It could be a dud. But the fun thing is that it is happening in real time. We are basically watching this as a spectator sport, and so I hope you guys will enjoy this. I do hope these two players will give us a good game. And guys, EXC and Race are of course two of the best in the business. These two are at the top of the skill pyramid, if you will. I don't even think they know that I'm recording the game right now, but they did invite me to watch. And let's introduce them real quick. EXE here in red, the ARM commander, red Trunks, K-Bot first, and in the purple Trunks we have Race, core, and also K-Bot first. Now guys, I think the reason you would go K-Bot first on this map in particular is that you can build these little mites, and I think the ARM one is called the Flea, and there is some reclaim on this map that does help. Guys, this map is it's fairly large for a 1v1 type game, and that might make an impact on the outcome of this. You could go vehicles first here as well, because where it's bigger, I think vehicles tend to do better on bigger maps because they're faster. So the way it works in Total Annihilation, if you didn't know, is that K-bots tend to accelerate more quickly, but their top speed is lower. So K-bots are more maneuverable, being two-legged or bipedal mechs, and vehicles having wheels or treads tend to be much faster at top speed. So once they get going, they are quite a bit faster generally than K-bots are. And so on a big map like this, vehicles can certainly get across these vast distances much more quickly to get those metal spots and to just sort of take over the map, just expand. Expansion is always really important in Total Annihilation. But here early on, EXE with a single Pee-wee, but Race, he is expecting this, and he has an AK already in range and a radar as well. So, while this Pee-wee may kill this half-built pulverizer, and is certainly being annoying, it shouldn't do too much else. But guys, here at the start, very similar openings from both of our players. I don't expect anything too crazy on this map. I wouldn't expect like an air start first or something. Both players just starting out with K-bots. And just spamming those AKs and Pee-wees for good measure at one another. But it seems that economically, EXE and Race are very close. Probably within one metal spot of one another. Maybe one or two wind generators. So guys, this is going to come down to a few things. The first thing that it may come down to is which player can cause economic damage to the other. So can either of these players kill a constructor? I've talked about in previous casts how important it is to try to kill your opponent's constructors early on. Each constructor you kill will make a big impact, a negative impact on their ability to maintain their economy and expand. And so Race here with this nice, about 10 group of AKs moving through the middle. If he could get some economic damage done, that would certainly be advantageous to him here. But EXC is prepared. He has quite a few Peewees lined up on the western side, and what Race is doing here with this radar is really nice. He's got this Voyeur. There's a battle happening here near the middle, but as I was saying, Race is moving across his side of the map with a mobile radar and some AKs, and he is just cleaning up any kind of aggression that EXE is attempting to partake in here. And guys, this is a high level sort of strategy. You don't see this at the lower levels. You're not going to see new or even intermediate players roaming their sides of the map with radars and roaming defenders. That is just a higher level strategy to defend your base. But what I was actually going to say is that taking the middle is really important here because there is like a very fine choke point that units must move through. And so Race already getting some K-bots to the middle here, some constructors to build some light laser towers. And this will halt any aggression that EXE attempts to send through until he can dismantle this this defensive line. So Race already, I think, in a better position here early on in this game, just in terms of his map control. Taking the middle is important. I have said before that TA is sort of like chess. You want to control the center of the board. It does give you better positionality over your opponent, and that will give you the ability to halt any kind of aggression. But having said that, I did mention earlier that this will come down to whether either player can inflict any economic damage early on, and the truth is that neither player really did inflict much economic damage. No constructors were killed. EXE has a little bit, just a slight lead on energy. He's got about 100 energy more. It's not hugely significant at this point of the game, 100 energy. And EXE is actually still struggling with energy. But guys, there are geo spots on this map, and I think those geo spots will hopefully be taken. I think that would be a good use of resources. But after the Peewee and AK phase that we've seen for about 9 minutes, come the Rockos. Rockos and Storms are usually the next phase of this battle of the T1 matchup. I think I said in my last cast that Storms and Rockos are like the pinnacle of the T1 phase. They're like the apex strategy. Uh-oh. Race wants to move his K-bot, his Con back. I think it might survive. He is nano-blocking. Oh, this Con, something could breathe on it, but it will survive. Holy cow, that thing will survive with just one little smidgen of health and build a GAT for its trouble. But guys, like I said, the Rocco and Storm spam, the Rocket K-bot spam, is kind of the pinnacle of the T1 combat because they do outrange almost every other T1 unit in the game, and they are quite difficult to deal with at the T1 phase. When you get enough of them, they definitely hit like a critical mass. And so I also expect that Race will be producing these, and he is, you can see. And so now EXC will be pushing this defensive line here with this group of Roccos. But in the meantime, Race has gotten a nice squad of AKs through the center. And we'll have to see what kind of damage these can do. EXC doing a good job of defending, but it does seem like EXE has taken out most of these defenses. There's still a couple light laser towers left, but those will fall as these warriors are quite tanky indeed. And with that, I think Race is going to lose this middle defensive position that he had built over the past few minutes. The middle will most likely now become a free territory, neutral zone. It is owned by nobody. Let's see, 4 kills on this warrior. But guys, warriors are really, really strong. They've been called a T1.5 unit, so they're a bit powerful for the T1 phase. But of course, their weakness is that they're kind of slow and short range. But man, they are heavy, and if they can get within firing range of an enemy unit, they will shred them with those Gauss cannons. They're one of the shortest range units in the game, but they are quite nasty to deal with if they can get in range of their firing solution here. So EXE has broken through, and this little raid of Races has been dealt with. But Race is now on vehicles as well, and we'll have to see how vehicles play into this. Can vehicles give Race the power or the advantage he needs to push back this attack? Because EXE is now moving through Race's territory with a vengeance. He's got these very high-powered warriors that are just going to shred through anything they can get their grubby little claws on. And Race has completely lost control of the middle as EXE continues to stream through with a combination of Peewees, warriors, and I think some Roccos as well. But guys, economically, Race is ahead. He has built a Geo. I think that explains the difference, is that Race has a Geo, and that is giving him a huge amount of power over his opponent. But this Geo could be killed if EXE finds it. However, these warriors are not invincible. They will die eventually. But, oh boy. Yeah, I think these warriors will go down. Let's see how many kills this one. 7 kills on this one, so very efficient, but it will die. And now it seems like Race has mostly reclaimed his side of the map. Now guys, warriors versus instigators is a very lopsided matchup, as these warriors are quite adept at killing instigators, but that one was already low. And now Race, I think, has the superior composition in this particular moment with all the storms. As I said, the storms are very strong if you can get enough of them, and it does look like Race is attempting to build that critical mass of storms. You can get like 20, 30, 40 storms all in a big group. They will demolish absolutely anything on the T1 phase. It's just how it is. It is a very strong unit. Of course, it's not without weaknesses. They're somewhat slow, health-wise. They're pretty frail, or fragile. But man, they have a good range and they hit hard. And they can kite really well. They can kite almost any T1 unit really well in large groups and just kill them slowly. But guys, The T1 phase is now over as EXC has made it to T2. And you can take everything I said about storms being the pinnacle of the T1 phase and just throw it out the window, drop it off a cliff, because once you hit the T2 phase, the dynamic changes completely. The units, the battlefield, the power on the battlefield and things of that nature completely shifts. And so EXE will be able to build some of these counters to the storm spam. There's a lot of different options. Fidos are a great option. Mavericks, I think, are also decent as well. I don't know about Zeus's. I mean, Zeus's are very hard to kill. They have a ton of HP. But I think the storms can still kite them. Zeus's range isn't bad. It's like a medium range assault K-bot, but I think the storms still can outrange the Zeus's. But they will be hard to kill. The Zeus's will take a while to kill. And let's look at Race's base. He is getting to T2. But economically, both players still very close. And it is a close game. But I'm going to give the a slight advantage to Race here, just because he is on EXE's side of the map. He has the better position. He is in the aggressive posture. He's sort of controlling the pace of the game at this particular moment. And EXE now bringing his Zeus's in. And yeah, guys, these Zeus's are very tanky. And he has gotten them in range of these storms. And so therefore, he will at least kill these defenses in the middle. And nice job by EXE. These 3 light laser towers were able to mostly hold that off. This one has 5 kills, 4 kills, and 2 kills. But yeah, these Zeus's have now broken through to Race's side, but Race still has his own squadron. And here we see a Maverick. And like I said, guys, Mavericks are a great counter to the storms because they I think move faster, and they have a really decent range, and they can just shred a storm in 1 or 2 hits. So if he can use this Maverick correctly, it can rack up a ton of kills right here. And a couple Zeus's still alive. Zeus's are, of course, going to eat instigators for breakfast, as they just have so much health and they do a ton of damage. And one lone warrior is still up here. I don't even know how this thing... 15 kills on this warrior. I don't even know how this thing is still up here or where it came from. But, guys, this is turning out to be a very, very close game. Well played by both sides, as Race is now on T2 himself. And both players still, neither player controlling middle, neither player really getting a foothold on this part of the map. And, of course, that is what you want to do. Both players are going to be fighting for that middle position. But now this Maverick in range, and let's look at the kills here. 4 kills already. 6 kills. Oh my god, it just shreds them so quickly. Oh, it's just out of range now. And this Maverick might go down, as the storms are very good at kiting. So the Maverick will die, but most of those storms have been cleaned up, and it will force Race to retreat. And I think what Race is going to do here is he's going to... he is just going to regroup all of his forces in the middle and take all this reclaim that he can and try to rebuild that defensive line. Because, again, you want to take the middle. You want to try to hold this position. You want to pick up the wreckage. There's so much metal here, just all around, all over the place. Heavy laser tower is a great option. Heavy laser tower, even strong against T2. So, guys, the light laser towers will start to fall off at the T2 phase. They just don't do enough damage or have enough health to really make a difference. But once you get to the T2 phase, the heavy laser towers still do quite a bit of damage and have enough health. And if you surround them with Dragon's Teeth, they will survive decently, even against things like Zeus's and Mavericks. So I don't think Race... The problem is Race doesn't have radar, so he doesn't know that he's walking into a nice little clump of Zeus's there, and once those Zeus's get in range of the storms, it will be quite devastating indeed, but those storms will retreat. So guys, again, Race had control of the middle of the map early on, and he's attempting to take control again, but EXE has something to say about that with a couple Mavericks moving down in here. Guys, Mavericks, one of the highest DPS units in the entire game, but they are like glass cannons. They don't have a huge amount of health. It's a unit that does better in the back line or against units that it can outrange. It's a glass cannon, so it does better if it's not being retaliated against. And now Race has effectively taken control of the middle. And guys, I said that is very important on a map like this with just one choke point. And I was just about to say, it surprises me greatly that EXE has not gone into air. EXE, of course, very well known for his aerial play, but he has thus far not employed that in this match. But EXE is slightly ahead economically, but Race has the better positionality here with holding the middle of the map. And excuse me, Race now pushing through with quite a scary army of Manticore, Reapers, and of course Storms. And guys, Storms, even at the T2 phase, can still be useful. Generally, they'll be better if they can be backed up with T2 units, like something as a front line. The Storms themselves don't have a ton of health. So if something can front line for the Storms, like Reapers, that will help quite a bit and ensuring their survivability. But again, Race has the better position here, but EXE has the better economy, so we'll have to see. EXE already building bombers now, but Race is ready for that as he has some fighters flying around here waiting for that inevitable bombing run. Both these players know each other's styles very well as they've played each other quite a bit, so it shouldn't be too much of a shock to Race that EXE will be doing a bombing run. And in fact, the only shocking thing is that that EXE has waited so long. But man, these Mavericks just tear up the Storms if they can get in range. And now, EXE's side of the map looking a little bit desperate as Race is moving through from multiple angles. He's moving through the west here. However, there is a couple Sentinels on the field that will try to slow down this aggression or maybe stop it completely. Very well placed Sentinels as well. They are... guys, this is very intentional by EXE, so... The thing about Sentinel... Oh, I can't draw. I'm not in the game, but what I was going to show you is that the range of the Sentinel kind of... It's about this big. It's like a circle that reaches almost the edge of this ridge here at the top left of my screen. And then this Sentinel gets this ridge. So it's difficult for Race to sneak through. But hold that thought, because Race is now sneaking through the south of the map with this storm spam, and EXE just has nothing down here to stop this. Now he can bring his bombers, but that will sort of tip his hand. If he brings bombers down here to stop this, Race will know that he has this bombing raid prepared, but chances are Race already knows, because that's just the way EXE plays. That's part of his patented play style, is using bombers. And Give me a moment here. Let's go ahead and follow Race's camera. This is what Race is looking at, and just give me one moment. I will be right back. I can't really pause the replay because it's live, but you can watch what Race is looking at in real time. Alright, everyone, I am back in black. And I think I missed a bombing run by EXE, but it wasn't too impactful. It didn't seem like EXE got much done. But holy cow. I hope you are enjoying that cinematic experience watching Race micro his little tail off. And now a nice group of Reapers moving through the north here. About 6. And can EXE hold this off? 6 Reapers isn't usually the biggest deal in the world. So I don't expect this to end the game, but these Reapers really worth their weight in gold as they are tearing through EXE's base, and Race doing whatever he can, or EXE doing whatever he can to stop this. And I think these Reapers finally will go down. God, those things, very tough to deal with. But on Race's side, EXE inflicting his own damage. I think, oh no, he didn't quite get that Geo, but I think he might get that Geo. Yeah, he gets that Geo. And so, guys, this game has been very scorched earth as both players just tearing into each other on all sides of the map. It has been a very, very back and forth sort of game. And it's hard to even say who's ahead, but I will say EXE has the better economy. And I think that's just because he has converted all of his mexes to moho mines. And Race is still, for the most part, on the T1 mexes. No, I guess I take that back. It looked like maybe EXE was just reclaiming. I thought EXE was ahead, but EXE has lost a lot of his metal extractors to that attack, and to the attack here on the bottom with the storms, which still hasn't been completely cleaned up, as this one lone storm, very annoying, and EXE will bring in the fighters to finish that off. So guys, I was mistaken. EXE is behind economically, and he's in a little trouble because Race still controlling the center of the map, and now bringing Goliaths into the mix here. And guys, Goliaths are well, they're very deadly. They're very strong. And Race even including a Copperhead in the mix for some anti-air effect. And guys, this push may win the game, as EXE is struggling to hold on to his side of the map. And he doesn't have too much left to defend with. He does have, he's got Fidos and Spiders, which are a decent combination. But I don't know if there's enough to stop this, what we're seeing here. And I suppose we'll probably find out the hard way. But the problem is, again, these Goliaths are just so damn tanky, so damn hard to kill. And even with this nice composition of Fidos and Spiders, I just don't know if it's going to be enough. There is still a few Sentinels, but even Sentinels are going to struggle to get through the all the health, all the HP of a Goliath. But now, EXE moving through the north of the map with some Freedom Fighters. And there's not enough air defense up here to stop it, but Race has his own Avengers. And EXE probably doesn't know about this, but we are about to see an epic air war, as these groups of fighters will clash, and it will probably come down to who has the better micro. But guys, Race had the advantage there simply because he came in from behind. He came in behind EXE and got that first volley off, and that will give him the upper hand in that engagement. And now again, EXE in a bit of trouble, as Race is just going to avoid all this defense here in the middle, and there is a lot of defense in the middle. But EXE with another bombing run attempt, which is a little surprising because he now knows that Race has those mobile fighters that can be dispatched anywhere on the map. However, they are in the north now, so if this bombing run hits the south, it might get something done before the fighters can respond. But the question is, I was going to ask whether EXE could hold this attack, but he has actually convinced Race to maybe retreat. No, Race now deciding to commit to this northern attack, commit to this assault with Goliaths and Reapers. And I just don't know if EXE has enough here, guys. This attack could just win the game, but Race being indecisive here, and I don't like this. But maybe Race feels that EXE's attack in the middle is just too scary to ignore. That is a lot of Fidos. However, Pillagers in response, Pillagers are very long range as well. But yeah, Race needs to make up his mind whether he wants to attack here or not. As time is ticking down, the longer he waits, the easier EXE will be able to defend this. For example, this bulwark has been completed. If he had attacked a minute or two ago, this would not have been completed, and it would have been a lot harder. And now EXE may be able to hold this. Race has to kill the bulwark. But these spiders doing a great job of paralyzing the army. And this bulwark is just being a nuisance now. If Race had just waited, I mean, if Race had just attacked a little bit earlier, this wouldn't have even been a feature of the defense. But now, I don't know. I don't think this attack is going to be enough. EXE had just enough time to build what he needed to stop it with these 2 Sentinels and everything coming out of the factories, the Zeuses and the Spiders and the Fidos. He will just stop this shy of killing his advanced K-Bot lab, so very, very well played by EXE, holding that off just in time, the just-in-time defense. But guys, it may not matter because Race economically is now way ahead. He has taken most of his side of the map in Moho Mines. And as you can see, EXE's essentially half of his side of the map hasn't even been captured. So economically, EXE is just behind, and he's going to have a very tough time now keeping up with Race's production. In fact, Race could increase his production. He's only on 1 advanced vehicle plant, but he could maybe build a 2nd advanced vehicle plant. He is now on advanced air as well, and that might have a large impact on the game, or on how the how all of this pans out, because EXE is not on advanced air, and so Race could go into something like T2 bombers or rapiers or many other things. Yeah, Race building a metal storage. He needs to use his metal. He's almost maxed out. So I think he should probably maybe go into another advanced vehicle plant, but that's up to him what he wants to do with it. Oh, he's going T3. Okay. So Race going into T3, and guys, this is going to be so scary for EXE, as core T3 K-Bots in particular, I think, are maybe the best T3 in the game. I mean, you've got the Juggernauts, you've got the Arbitrators, what is it, Karganests, I think. Oh, there's just so much nastiness in this gantry. It is just one of the best, maybe the best T3 gantry. That's really my opinion, but it's certainly very difficult to deal with as the enemy player. And EXE now struggling with his energy, attempting to take his side of the map back. He is quickly catching up to Race in terms of metal, because he's taking all these metal spots with Mohos. But the problem is, I don't know, guys. He is really just kind of, at this point, struggling to stay in the game, or struggling to meet Race's level of production. And his counters for this army are not the greatest. I'd like to see some perhaps sharpshooters in here to deal with the Goliaths, but the problem is EXE doesn't currently have the energy to support that. He is almost done with his first fusion, though, and that will give him a lot more energy. So I would like to see some maybe sharpshooters here to deal with the Goliaths from a long range. But right now, Race's composition is looking absolutely terrifying, and Race is moving in, and also halfway to T3 as well, and also on T2 air. So, guys, Race in a very dominant position here, and EXE, I don't know. He may be able to hold this off, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Let's go ahead and look at EXE's camera real quick, see what he's up to as this attack slowly begins to move into his side of the map. So guys, EXC has done a valiant job of defending, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough. Race now with what's looking like a an invincible army moving through the center here of Goliaths and pillagers. And he's got plenty of air defense, so even if EXE uses these brawlers, I don't think it's going to help too much. Can Race break through here? The Zeus is now coming in at the opportune time after a lot of the army has been paralyzed by these spiders. Guys, EXE's use of the spiders this game has just been phenomenal. He has just been paralyzing Race's superior army over and over, allowing him to pull off these impossible defenses that he should not in any universe be able to succeed with. I mean, these defenses are like the Alamo. It's unbelievable that he continues to push back Race time after time, even though Race has what looks like an army that is just meant to win the game and just end it. But God, EXE is just playing unbelievably well. And I love the way that he brings the spiders in, paralyzes everything, and then brings in his army as not to take unnecessary damage before all of the enemy units are paralyzed. But guys, again, Race is still far ahead economically, and now on T3. And I just don't know if there's enough paralysis spiders in the world to save EXE. From T3, because guys, T3 in escalation does have stun defense. I think some T3 units can be stunned, but it's a very reduced effect or reduced duration. I think all T3 units have stun like defense, but some units are just immune to it. So the Krogoth, the Krogoth, I think, will be immune to paralysis completely. Oh, it sucks as a spectator. I can't actually click on the gantry and see what's in it. But anyway, I do expect Race, knowing his playstyle, to start pumping out after he gets some T3 cons. I assume he will just start building the I think they're called Karganaths. Anyway, it's just the oh no, Widows. Okay, he's going with Widows first. Widow is early game T3, and again, these will have probably some stun resistance to the spiders. It will be much harder for EXE to stop this devastating push. And guys, the truth is, EXE is holding on, but I don't see what his long-term plan is here. It seems like right now he's just fighting to stay alive. And while that is certainly admirable, I don't know how he's actually trying to win the game. He may be thinking of an aerial assault, but the problem is that Race has tons of air defense all over the map. He's even got lacerators, and of course he's got these armies of vamps and Avengers. Oh, and now Race with his own little bombing campaign that he has planned, building an anti-nuke as well, just in case EXE tries it. So, again, I don't know how EXE wins this game. I don't know how he... I don't know what his plan is. I mean, I'm surprised he's even alive at this point, given how many times Race has attacked him with what looked like an unstoppable army. But EXE's use of these spiders has just been phenomenal this game, and it has really, I think, given him the ability to stay in this for a little bit longer than he probably should have. But the problem is that Race again on T3. And we're going to have to keep our eye on these bombers. But yeah, the problem is that Race is on T3, and this next push may be the push that just wins the game. If he adds these Widows into the mix, those are going to be a very nasty addition to an already insanely powerful army. And Race, I think, has included Pyros this time. I think, guys, I think this is on purpose. The Pyros, I think, are meant to be in the front line, and they will roast these spiders. It's kind of a trope in movies that the way you kill spiders is with fire, the kill it with fire type thing. So Race has taken this this meme a little too literally, and he has now included Pyros in the army. I think he's probably going to position them in the front to try to burn all those spiders away so that the rest of his army can stay fully functional and not just get paralyzed to death. However, he hasn't included any flaks this time, so that's an interesting factor here, is that EXE can now bring his fighters and bombers and gunships into the fray. And here we go. Once again, another attack and another defense by EXE, bringing in hundreds of these little spiders from both sides. And even the Pyros, not enough, I think, to stop this. Now the fighters coming in as well. And Race has just forgotten to include anti-air. Race with a very, very risky maneuver, bringing these bombers right into the midst of about 100 fighters or more. And those will be shredded almost instantly. Holy frickin' cow. Is EXE going to hold off this impossible attack once again? How is he doing this? And even with T3, Race is just not able to break through here. Those Widows, I think, were in the army, but they just didn't really accomplish much. And he failed to include air defense here, and I think that was the biggest factor. He needed a few Copperheads in the mix there to clean up all of that airplay. Guys, the flaks... Yeah, this is what I was talking about, the Talos. So in Bar, and I think in Twilight, there's a similar core unit. It's basically a... it's a missile mech. It just shoots 1 million missiles from its hands. And maybe its shoulders as well. And it's a very all-round or well-rounded mech, because I think it can hit air as well. Its missiles are tracking. So I expected him to build these right off, because these can actually deal with the air as well. They're very, like the Talos is an extremely multifaceted unit. It's a bit of a jack of all trades. It's pretty good at everything. Problem is, it's not great at anything. But against what EXE is doing here, I think Talos are the right choice. The problem is that even though EXE is holding off all these attacks, he is going to have a hell of a time pushing through here. But he is going to do it anyway. He's going to fly through with all these fighters and maybe go for a comm snipe? What is his intention? Okay, he's bombing the gantry here, bringing the brawlers in. He will take out the upgrade center, but the gantry is still alive. However, the second wave of bombers, or the second run, will take out that gantry. Holy freaking cow. EXE is inflicting very significant damage to Race's base here with this bombing and air campaign. Holy shit. I can't believe it. I cannot believe that EXE is not only in this game, he's not only surviving, but he is actually inflicting damage on his opponent with his airplay. And now with that T3 gantry dead, Race is going to be in a difficult position. Of course, he still has his T3 constructors, and this time he's going into the Ultra Vehicle plant. He's decided that the T3 K-Bots was not what he wanted. He, in fact, has decided that perhaps T3 vehicles will serve him better here. But, man, Race really ramping up the airplay and building, oh my god, a T2 transport. A Sky Crane, guys. It looks like EXE may be going for some drop play. Picking up some, maybe, oh, who knows what. Maybe just some Fidos and Zeuses and Spiders. And dropping them on Race's side of the map. The problem is, guys, this is going to be difficult because there's a ton of air defense. Typically, you would want to do that at the edge of the map, so maybe here or here. But Race has already built some air defense. So if EXE wants to use this play, he will need to first take out all of this air defense before continuing. And now Race will not be making that same mistake he did in the last push. He will be including 5 Copperheads in his army. I'm really surprised he didn't do that last time, as it seemed like failure to have enough air defense is what caused him to lose that battle. But yeah, 3 Sky Cranes, full of units perhaps. But I don't know. This is a nice strategy, but EXE may not be aware of how much air defense there is on Race's side. Just dropping off these units on the east side of the battlefield, probably not going to be as easy as it might appear at first glance. But having said that, Race is now preparing for yet another assault on EXE's base, and can he this time inflict that devastating damage that allows him to win the game? Guys, we will have to see. EXE doesn't seem to have a ton here. Maybe he's picked some of it up in Sky Cranes. I really like this idea by EXE, but I don't think it's going to work. I really like the idea, but the problem is there's 2 problems. One is there's too much air defense to really pull this off. And 2, he is picking up some of his army that he needs to be using to defend here. He really needs to be using all of his army for defense. As nice as it would be to get a great drop play off, I think he's going to need all of his soldiers at the front line, not the back line. And EXE just doesn't have enough down here in the south to stop this push. He will delay it, though. He will delay this push, at least for now. But I don't think he has enough to stop it. That's the problem. This push will continue, as EXE will be pushed back. However, he does have some bulwarks down here that will slow the push down, but again, EXE with the Sky Crane play, it's a very nice idea, but I'm just a little worried that he's unaware of the amount of defense on Race's side, and he'll need to take out those Lacerators before he does this drop. And I'm afraid this drop is happening at the expense of his own base, as well as he's putting his army in these transports instead of using them to fight here in the south. And now Race on T3 again. Okay, here comes another bombing run. There are still a couple copperheads, but there's not enough air defense to really stop this much aerial power. But I don't even know if EXE wants to use that. He's going to ignore this Southern Army. He's going to try to force his way through here and do the drop. I just don't know if this is going to work. There's so much air defense. There's so much air defense, but he is getting some of it out. Some of the units do manage to get out, but I think most of the army that was in those sky cranes will perish. The only thing he does get out are some spiders, and I think probably that's not really what he was hoping for. I don't think EXE knew quite how much air defense there was. There's so many lacerators here, and that drop attempt was ultimately a failure. I think EXE needed to send some scouts first and assess how much air defense there was down here before attempting that. I just don't think he was aware of just quite how many lacerators there were. And with that failed drop, I think Race is probably going to now push into EXE's base and maybe just win the game. Excuse me. There's just too much air defense. And now EXE's side of the map is crumbling. Oh man, I don't even want to know how many kills this Talos has. 21 kills on the Talos. Absolute beast here. Again, these T3 units do have paralyzed defense, so they may be stunned, but only for a second. And EXE is bringing his aerial might to stop this push, but the problem is that Race has quite a few T2 fighters, air superiority fighters, and I think those will, if Race micros them, seems like he's doing something else right now, but once Race realizes, he will probably bring those back. Oh no, I guess he's not going to. It surprises me a little bit that he didn't use those to take out all these gunships. As EXE now using those brawlers, but guys, look how tanky these Talos are. Even with all those brawlers taking forever, and now finally the Vamps will come in, and they will absolutely mutilate those brawlers. It is a circus. And EXE just does not have enough fighters of his own to stop this aerial dominance of Race, as this Talos not even half health even after all of that abuse. Of course, it does now. It has 5 levels of veterancy as well, so it is a beefy person. But guys, now with Race moving through with these behemoths, I have to think the game is probably over. EXE saying in the chat, I guess you were prepared. So Race was prepared for that drop play. He knew EXE might try something sneaky like that. EXE now blaming me. Oh yeah, yeah, he's blaming my videos. He's probably talking about Shockwave's drop play. That his patented drop techniques. I have now made the community aware of it through my videos. But guys, EXE kind of committed everything to that drop play, and it didn't work out because Race was prepared, and now Race will slowly but surely move into EXE's base and in the game. But guys, this has just been an amazing game, which is kind of crazy because I'm casting this live. I had no idea that I had no idea if this was going to be a good game. It could have been a total stomp or a dud. But even in spite of that, EXE attempting to hold on as long as he can. But I don't think it's going to matter anymore. Race in a dominant position here, and that failed drop I think really was the nail in the coffin for EXE. Having to continuously stun this Talos to prevent it from moving. And now Race with these vamps as well. And now a mammoth on the field, a second mammoth. EXE will leave the game. So guys, that was a great one. What an amazing game. What a great play by both sides. I'm really glad I was here to spectate it and cast this amazing match. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Very well played by both players, and EXE definitely could have won. Maybe if he had just taken out the air defense first before flying his dropships over, or doing another strategy. But great job by EXE for holding on as long as he did. What an incredible match, and yeah, that was awesome. And I'll see you guys in the next cast.